Hey guys, so this is the video you've all been waiting for. So let's jump straight into it and let's talk about my wisdom tooth situation. So I'll tell you exactly what happened, how it felt and everything. And excuse my throat if you hear me coughing or doing that. You'll see later why I keep doing that. So I'll explain that when I get to it. And yeah, let's jump right ahead. So as you all know, I was getting my wisdom tooth out yesterday. And I got to the hospital like 15 minutes before my appointment, or 7:30 as the time I've got to get there. My dad did come with me, but then they told us nobody can be on that ward with us. It just has to be me. So it were an absolute waste of time, my dad coming with me, which is kind of annoying because I didn't want to be in there on my own because I was very anxious and nervous. So that was kind of annoying. But yeah, I got put on the ward, and I got asked quite a couple of questions and stuff about just my health in general, and then it was pretty much just a waiting game to see what happens or what's going to happen. And around this time I'm literally just on my phone constantly because it was so boring waiting, and I kept going hot cold because the ward was hot and cold at the same time. It were a bit medium, and yeah, it just kept asking questions and coming back and stuff, and yeah, I remember almost everything apart from the part I went under. But yeah, so they did ask me to pee in a cup to make sure I wasn't pregnant. I did tell them there is absolutely no chance of me being pregnant, and I know that for a fact. And they said, well, you're just gonna have to take this pee in this cup so we can test you anyway, because it might stop us from doing surgery otherwise. So I'm like, for fuck's sake, I know I'm not pregnant, but fine. So I did that. They said, you're not pregnant. I was like, obviously I know. I'm not thick. I knew that were going to come out as negative. Told them that, and they clearly didn't listen. And then, yeah, we're basically just a waiting game. The girl next to me, she was lovely and all, but when you're in a hospital, be a bit respectful of people around you. Like, this girl was literally on her phone listening to stuff so goddamn loud. I'm thinking, for fuck's sake, turn it down, woman. Christ, think about other people that are in fucking hospital. It's not just you, love. God. But anyway, that might have just been me being groggy because I had to wake up early. I don't know. So it got to the point where I'm literally just on my phone, just playing games and stuff because I was that bored waiting. The girl next to me went, and then there was one woman on the ward as well that couldn't have her surgery because there was something that runs in her family, because I overheard the conversation where she can't go under because she has something in her family where when she's put to sleep, the struggle to get her back up. She knew exactly what it was, but the hospital was not prepared to kind of put her under to risk her not waking back up. So they ended up sending her home and basically just getting someone to check and with doctors and stuff and run tests and stuff just to let them know exactly what it is, and then she'll get whatever sorted another day. So anyway, fast forwarding quite a lot of hours, someone came for me and they said, right, let's get you dressed now. So you have to put on a little gown, and like them hospital gowns, and then you can put your dressing gown and slippers on. You have to take everything off apart from your bra if you're a woman. Any jewellery, piercings you have to take out. Unfortunately, my nose I didn't want to take out because I knew it would heal within a matter of minutes and I won't be able to get that back in, and I don't fancy paying for it to be pierced again. So they did just put a piece of tape over my piercing in my nose. Anyway, that's when I went into the room next to the theatre, and that's where all the craziness went down. So what happened is, from what I can remember anyway, I remember they said to basically take off my dressing gown and slippers, which were absolutely fucking pointless fetching them because she literally just used it for walking around on the ward. So that was pretty much useless. And then they basically said hop onto bed, but before you do, we just have to untie back of your dress, like the gown. So I'm like, okay, hopped onto bed, and it were absolutely freezing in there. And I'm not kidding, it was very, very cold, and I was shivering. They fetched me 2 blankets, as you can imagine. Hospital blankets are not very thick, so I was very cold. And they were doing all this kind of stuff, putting like monitors on my chest and stuff to monitor me while I'm asleep. What else did they do? Previously as well, they came round to give everyone a tablet so that they can like get a bit sleepy or whatever. I couldn't swallow the tablet, so I didn't do it. I tried, I couldn't do it. This woman was lovely, but she's like, just shove it to the back of your throat and take a drink. I'm like, I can't do it, it's physically not going down. So she said, just chuck it back in there. So I did, and she went away. So they did say, like in that little room that I was in, to get sedated and everything, they were like, oh, you didn't take that? And I goes, no, because I couldn't swallow it. And they were like, okay, that's fine. And then next thing you know, they're getting me all ready. They're getting ready to put a cannula in my hand. I'm like, oh God. So yeah, they put the cannula in my right hand. I don't know if you can see. The lighting is pretty shocking in here. There is a dot there somewhere, it's literally there. So they put it in my right hand first, and they didn't get a vein. Because it was that cold, my veins decided to take an holiday and didn't take me with it. So they had to try my left hand next, because no veins were just popping up at all. So yeah, they eventually got a vein in my left hand, but they did have to take my right hand cannula out because there were no point keeping that in. And then that's when they put plaster on it. And then in my left hand they got a vein, so they started pumping me with some stuff. I think it was to help me relax a little bit. And then all of a sudden this guy pulls his fucking mask onto my face. And I'm like, because I'd never had that before. And then women were like, are you okay? And I goes, no, with that on my face I can't breathe. And then they were like, do you want to hold it? And I goes, yeah, because at least I know what's coming if I'm doing it myself. And then that's when I heard him say, should I pump up oxygen or something? So I'm like, okay. Then they got this tube out and they're like, right, so what we're going to do is we're going to shove this tube up your nose because we can't put it in your mouth because we're taking your wisdom tooth out, so it needs to go up your nose. So it's going to go up your right nostril to give me more oxygen. I don't know what it was for, to be honest. And I'm like, you're not doing that now, are you? And they're like, no, we do that once you're asleep. I'm like, okay. Hence why I got a really scratchy throat and I keep doing that fucking horrendous noise because I think they had to put it up my nose to go down my throat, if that makes sense. So now my throat is extremely scratchy, in excruciating pain, and every time I eat anything it feels like my throat's just seizing up and closing, and whenever I do eat food it feels like it's burning the back of my throat even though it's not even hot. It's like lukewarm, which is the worst experience of it all. And then the guy was telling us previously that as we're injecting us, it was like, oh, when you do get in there I'm going to ask you to count back from 10. Like, I don't want to count back from 10 at all. I just want to close my eyes and go. So they injected me with some stuff after the relaxer, and when I oh god, feeling all kinds of emotions there. I look like I'm having a breakdown and everything. Feels like I've literally got a cold and cough and everything in one. It's so irritating and I feel knackered. So they put this stuff in my hand and oh my god, I can't even explain the feeling of this. They said, now we're just going to give you some gin and tonic. So I'm like, gin and tonic? And they're like, yeah, it makes you feel like you're kind of drunk. And I'm like, oh. And then they were asking me what my favourite alcoholic drink and stuff was. And I'm like, oh, it's amaretto. But I'm trying to talk loud with this mask on my face to help me get a bit more oxygen. Then what happened? Then I can't remember anything after that, actually. I was out like a light. But that stuff felt awful. It felt like like the room was spinning for a good 10 minutes. It was dreadful. And then the next thing I know, I'm waking up in this room. So I'm like, fuck, where am I? And they said, you're just in recovery room at the minute. And we were like, okay. Because I did also say to him, even before they started putting me on loopy stuff, can I have my wisdom tooth once it's pulled out? And they said no. And I was like, didn't give me no reason as to why. I just We're like, okay. And then when I came out of the surgery, I was like, where's my wisdom tooth? And they're like, I don't even think they answered it, but I were a bit spaced out at that point. So I don't remember if they said anything, but usually if that tooth's cracked while they're taking that out, they'll not give it you. But if it's in perfect condition, then so anyway, start recovering in this recovery room, and once I kind of come around a little bit, they were like, right, we're going to take you back to a ward so you can like come around a bit more. So I'm like, okay. And at this point, guys, my throat, oh my god, I've never felt pain like it in my throat, honestly. It was a whole different version of pain. It was awful. I think that was due to me not drinking anything, because I was told I need to fast from 12 o'clock the night before my surgery. So I thought that meant no drinking pop or water or juice or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that happened. And then what were on about my throat? Yeah, but honestly, I genuinely feel like I've gained COVID from being in there. I don't know if I do have it or not, but I know I went negative before I went in there. But I keep sniffling, coughing and everything. I know the coughing's just down to that pipe. But I'll tell you something, when they fetched me back onto the ward and I was just kind of coming round a little bit more, they gave me some water because I was absolutely coughing my lungs up because this pipe, I don't think they were gentle pulling it out at all. It felt like they'd just gone and pulled it out of my throat because that's how painful my throat was. And then they came round and they were like, do you want a hot drink or anything? And I was like, I'm alright, Ta. And then they were like, do you want some water? And I goes, please. And then they fetched some water. Best water I've ever tasted in my life. It was nice and cold. Oh, it was just amazing. But they fetched me a little jug with a little cardboard cup. But even so, you're not meant to have hot drinks at all after you've just had your wisdom tooth out, because it can cause bleeding. So it's a good job I opted for the water and not a hot drink. And then, yeah, we just sat on ward a little bit longer. And they're supposed to call your parents to come pick you up. Yeah, that didn't happen. It got to, I think it was like 45 minutes later, or maybe a bit less or more. I'm not quite sure. But I was pretty much okay now. I could stand up and stuff, and they came round, took the cannula out of the hand that was still in, which was the hand, that hurt, which was the hand that they used to put me to sleep. And then they told me to can't talk. They told me to apply pressure to it for a couple minutes and then get dressed, because I was getting ready to go home. And I'd done that, but I don't know how long a couple of minutes is. So me being me, I started getting fucking dressed after I'd held down on this thing a couple of minutes, and then all of a sudden I feel blood like gushing down my hand and on my fingers and everything. It went all over the floor, all over my fingers, all over the bed. You were like, for fuck's sake. So she had to come back, wrap it up, because I'd pressed the buzzer for my bed for him to come. And I was like, I'm bleeding all over the place. And they were like, okay, that's fine, we'll get you cleaned up. So I'm like, thank you. And they're like, keep pressure on it for a couple minutes and then try and get dressed again. I'm like, okay, so I kept it on for quite a bit this time. I kept it on for roughly 5 minutes. Kept applying pressure. And then I got dressed. Then I was like, can you grab me slippers and my dressing gown, because I've no idea where they went, because they took it off me. And then they said, oh yeah, it's in your cupboard there. And I goes, oh, fucking known to me. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Then I basically, they said, oh, have you text or called whoever to come pick you up. And then I ended up calling my dad to say he could come and pick me up. And he was like, on my way. And me being me thinking, oh, he's going to come up in the car, because I'm not going to be like fully okay. I might be a little bit wobbly. But no, he didn't. I ended up walking back home, even though it's only down the streets. But I guess it gave me a little bit of exercise. But yeah, I ended up going home. Kept feeling good and then bad at some points in the day. As of yet, there's absolutely no pain in my wisdom tooth, or where my wisdom teeth where my wisdom tooth used to be. There's no pain whatsoever. It's just literally my throat, and that is it. That's the only pain I do feel. You'll be given some ibuprofen or paracetamols or mouthwash. So you have to use that antiseptic mouthwash twice a day, in the morning and then at night, just to make sure everything's going to be sterile and perfectly fine. But yeah, that's the story of the wisdom tooth. It's gone now, and now all I'm going to say is that I am going to look after my teeth a little bit better than what I would before, because that is an experience that I never ever want to go through again. I mean, we can't help what happens to us teeth. Like, I do brush them every morning and every night, but nature takes its course, doesn't it? But yeah, overall it weren't a bad experience. It was quite alright, but yeah, it's been a crazy one. I've got to say, it feels weird not feeling a tooth there anymore. It's just a big dip. Oh, it's so weird. But yeah, that's it, guys. That is the wisdom tooth update. I'm just still recovering. I've got maybe 2 days left now to recover fully. Then I'm not sure what after that. Yeah. So that's been my honest opinion on the surgery, and whoever else is getting it done, just expect the worst. It is very, very nerve-wracking, but trust me, you'll be absolutely fine. You're in very good hands. But you just got to trust the people that are around you, that are helping you. But it's not overall bad. You're knocked out, so you're not feeling a single thing. But I tell you what, I have been craving pork scratchings, but they're too crunchy for me to eat. So I've literally got to wait for my gum to heal for me to eat them. kind of frustrating. But yeah, if you have any questions at all on the procedure I underwent, then leave a comment in the comment box, and yeah, ask me as much as you want. And I still need to do the Q&A for you guys, the questions you were asking me, so I'll get that done as well at some point. And I believe that is it, guys. Have a really nice day, morning or evening, wherever you may be, and you take care of yourselves. Thank you for watching this, and thank you for supporting all my other all my other videos as well. I really do appreciate that. And thank you once again. You guys take care now. Bye.